Hello and welcome to my video step out series. I'm Darcy Ellerby, CZT, and in these videos I'll walk you through a single Zentangle pattern that you can go on to use in your own Zentangle practice. Today's tangle is Opus. This is one of my favorite organic tangles. It makes great background work and also can stand alone on its own if you have a space that you'd like to fill with it. So let's get started drawing this tangle Opus. I'm going to begin by giving myself dots and a border. And the tangle Opus is made up of a combination of some strokes that you'll be familiar with from other tangles, namely fescue and auras and tipple. But when we put them together in this pattern called Opus, that makes a very nice organic background or filler to a space. So begin by making some fescue fronds, 2 or 3 bulbs, and move around your section and give yourself a bunch of these little fronds of different size, shapes, and directions, so that you can sort of fill in the space that you're creating the Opus tangle in by paying attention to where you place these droplet ends of the fescues so that those dots are kind of spread out neatly in the space that you're filling. So like I said, some of these little groupings will have 2, some will have 3. You can even have a really short little one over here on the side, whatever you need, so that you've spread around a bunch of these little fescue circles. After you've put this first layer down, the next step is to go through the space and to outline or aura each of these fescue fronds. And if you've placed them close enough together that the auras are touching, or if you end up placing them so close together that you need to hollow, that's totally fine. But give yourself a nice aura around each frond of your fescue layer. Of course, turning your tile frequently. And in this case, I think I'm going to add another frond that direction just to help fill in this edge. Here's a spot where I'm going to hollow just a little bit with my aura. And then the last layer in this tangle is to add tipple into the background behind these. And when I'm drawing tipple, I like to start with some spaces where I've got large opportunities to place tipples. And then after I've put in all of the large ones, then I'll make a second pass through and add some smaller tipple into the remaining spaces. Having the tipple layer land with multiple size orbs in it adds a lot of interest and prevents it from looking just too sameish. that's enough tipple to fill the background completely. And now all we have left is some shading. My favorite way to shade Opus is really just to add some shade on the tipple layer around the auras that circled the starting fescue. And it just helps the tipple background recede a little bit and calls a little bit more attention to the original fescue fronds that you've added in this pattern. And as you're putting your graphite down, this case is one in which we're going to want to preserve one sharp edge and one fuzzy edge when we put our tortillon to the tile. So do turn your tile as you work to keep the pointy end of your pencil aimed right at the edge of the fescue, the aura around the fescue, of course. And that will help that aura line around the fescue stay nice and sharp when we go to blend in the shading. You can, of course, go back and forth between your graphite and your pencil if you like. I'm one who generally prefers to put all my graphite down at once, or at least in a section, and then pick my tortillon so that I'm not switching back and forth from tool to tool. So I've added graphite all around the outside edge of the auras surrounding the fescues, and I'll take my little runaway tortillon and come back in here and just smooth out that shading. Again, to keep the fescues themselves nice and clean and bright, I'm turning my tile as I'm shading and keeping the tip of the tortillon aimed at the aura line. And then when you're adding graphite, you also want to remember to sort of keep some places bright. What makes the graphite effective visually is by creating contrast between the dark places and the light spaces. And so if you wash out the entire background with graphite, you just don't quite have the same effect. This is also a fun tangle to do with two different color inks, with the fescue and aura in one color and the background tipple in a second corner color. That can look very nice. And then I'll just run my dirty tortillon along the outside edge of my tangle here, just to give it a little bit of finish on the edges. And so there you have it. This is the Tangle Opus. Works great for background tangles as well as filling in spaces all on their own. If you enjoyed today's video step out, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more free videos like this one. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon, where for just a few dollars a month, you'll get many more members-only video step outs, which I post weekly. Thanks for watching and happy tangling!